Mr. Chair, introducing a shareholder, Craig Caulfield.
Craig, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Chairman, and good morning to the board and to the shareholders. If I could start on the back of what the previous gentleman said, taking over the owner-managed branches, I think, is one of the critical things. Bank of Queensland's reputation has been quite poor in previous years and compared with other banks. And there's been lots of problems there, and that's reflected in the regulators making inquiries. So I think it was quite a courageous step to say that we will purchase the owner-operated franchises. I think in that model there were greater risks, there was harder governance, harder oversight. You couldn't really see right through what was happening. So I think that's a step to be applauded, albeit that there's going to be some difficulties dealing with particular owner-managers and doing that fairly. What do you see are perhaps your three biggest reasons why you decided to run that route now? You could have done that earlier. Why have you decided to do that now?
So for 22 years, we ran a franchise system with our branches, and there were 114 owner-managed branches. We reviewed the strategy earlier in 2024 to see whether this could be part of our future. The reason for converting, principally, and to the answer that I gave Paul as well, we're in a very competitive environment. We have a number of very large competitors that are making it difficult for us to lend money in mortgages at profitable rates. And so at the same time, we are building a digital capability and migrating customers out of our legacy banking environment into the digital environment where, as I said before, it's a lower cost to serve and it's a better outcome for our customers. That's where the strategy is taking us. And I'm not talking about the business bank at this point in time, I'm talking about our retail banking operations. So with corporate-owned branches, we can align much better with our strategy and will allow us to more directly look after the customers that want a physical presence with us. And for those customers who are happy in the digital environment, they're getting a better outcome as well. So there was a whole bunch of reasons that led to this. It wasn't specifically just a branch decision. It was about where the strategy of the bank is, how we can deliver better returns over time. And I think you're right, it's a brave decision because this organisation had gone with the franchise system for 22 years. I think Patrick's going to add a point as well.
Thank you for your question. I think it's really important that we acknowledge the contribution that our owner-managers have made to BOQ over the last 20 years. So I did want to publicly acknowledge that. Also, I wanted to acknowledge that it's a very difficult decision for them to make this change. I think in addition to the comments that Warwick's made, you obviously raised the compliance issues associated with that, and the franchise model that is far more complicated in the increased regulatory environment that we're in to achieve the compliance that we need. But I think also, which is really, really important, is this is a really big growth opportunity for us. So we're actually looking to grow in growth corridors in Queensland. Under the current structure, we can't invest bankers in those branches to do that. When we own the branches, we will actually be able to invest bankers in key regions within Queensland to continue to grow our business as well. So I just wanted to add that to Warwick's statement.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you. Just one further question on the back of that. Considering your move to digital is one thing and owner-operated branches, is it your intention to close branches that you're taking back? What's your branch projections over the next 5 years?
What we have said publicly is there will be some branch rationalisation, particularly where we have multiple branches in regional locations where it just isn't feasible for us to have three or 2 or 3. So there will be some rationalisation. We have announced that. But there's not an intention to have a wholesale closing of the branch network.
So you'll largely keep most of the branches there, keep most of the region serviced, albeit a region might have multiple branches.
Look, I think we're most influenced by our customer preferences. If the customers are telling us that they want an online relationship with us, then we will respond to that. 99% of our transactions are done online now. And so the frequency of visitation to branches has declined for a lot of years. So I think the major determinant of what we do in the next 5 years will be what the preference is of our customers.
I would just comment on the 99% coming from the ABA. I do know that that excludes certain measurements. I've been into bank branches and I've joined queues where it takes a long time to see someone. So when I think of I'm in a queue and all of the banks are saying we're going digital, what is not included in those figures, what's a misleading omission, is the people that go into a branch to say, I'd like to report a scam. I've got a question about my cheque account. I'd like to open an account up. They're not included. So looking at purely transactions is not the best method to look at the viability of branches versus digital.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Craig.